Hi everyone, I'm Chad. Welcome to Maker's Bench. So we're in our sketch constraint series, and now we're on the horizontal and vertical constraint. Again, it's a very simple constraint, as most of these constraints are. Most of the sketch constraints are very simple to use and pretty self-explanatory. But if you've never done it before, it's not necessarily something that you've done before if you haven't, and there's no reason to not learn how to do it. So we'll start with a horizontal sketch constraint. Now the horizontal vertical constraint is the same constraint. It will assume, if you're closer to horizontal or if you're closer to vertical, it will go ahead and pick a constraint, pick the one that it thinks you want. So all I have to do is click on the horizontal or vertical constraint. I click on the line, and that's it. It's horizontal. It won't change off of horizontal. It'll stay that way. And you can see that we've got our horizontal constraint has shown up. Now, if you draw a line and you're pretty close to, you see it snaps to that spot, and right now what it's doing is it's assuming a parallel constraint. So I'm just going to delete this first line here because I want to show how it assumes a horizontal constraint. Anyway, if I draw a line and I snap down, you see it snaps to that horizontal, and it's going to assume that there's a horizontal constraint. So it assumed that there's a horizontal constraint there, and it put it in. It'll do the same thing if let's say I draw a vertical line. I don't want it to be perpendicular. I just draw a vertical line, it will snap there, and it assumed a vertical constraint. If I get a line that is, of course, not vertical, and I click on this constraint, and I click on it, it makes it vertical. So that line that's all there is to the horizontal and vertical constraint. You click the constraint, you click the line that you want to be horizontal or vertical, and it will make them whatever it's closest to. So, well, I'm out of my patio editing the constraints video here, the horizontal and vertical constraints video. And there's one other thing I remembered and I wanted to mention. Horizontal and vertical works with lines, but you can also use it with points. There's other ways to constrain something like this, but sometimes I find that doing the horizontal and vertical constraints work when I need them to. So in this case, I'm just going to say that I want this point and this point to be horizontal to each other. I can click on the horizontal constraint, I can click the points, and they become horizontal with each other. So that's another use for that. So I'm just going to drop this into that video and go from there. That's it for that one. If you have any questions, again, put them in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that, and we'll see you next time.